this time.
Yep, and this is the last one?
This is the last one. Alrighty. I'm mic'd up.
Good.
Alright, you guys. You guys can come up to the, if you want to stand behind back, that's fine, but you can come up to the cones. That'll work too. Alright, so welcome. Welcome to the Big Wild Dissection. Kind of taken from Anchorage's motto of we're living in the big wild life. Alright. We have packets for you guys to fill out to make observations and notes on as I'm going through and talking about a little bit about moose and the anatomy of moose. So please feel free to write down while I'm talking. We're going to be talking about some of the comparative anatomy between moose and humans. You'll be doing observations of both internal and external anatomy. So we're going to start with the, I'll first start out with the story about how we got this moose. My husband is part of Moose Federation's moose safety team, and what they do is if there's ever a moose that is hit by a car, they'll take this truck and it's got a big winch on the back of it, and they'll go out and they'll recover the moose off the road, and then they will deliver it to a charity. There's a list that's formed in the state of Alaska where people can get on it if they want to get a roadkill moose to salvage for food for their families. And so what we'll do is after we put it on the truck, we'll deliver it to the next person that comes up on the list for that charity. This one was not hit by a car. This one we recovered about a day or so ago off of Gruning Middle School's track out in their field, and it died of natural causes. So this one, we're pretty lucky in the fact that all of the organs are intact. Okay, there's no broken bones or anything like that. So what's going to happen with this moose when we're done is it's going to be given to the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, and they have a program, a wildlife program that they're doing, a wildlife study actually that they're doing out on Fort Richardson, where they are researching wolves and wolverines. So they're going to be using the moose carcass in their study and doing research of wolves and wolverines. So to start out, looking at externally the moose. This is a female moose. It's a cow moose. That's what they call the females. Anybody know what the males are called? Bulls. Yeah, those are the ones that'll get the antlers. The cows will not get the horns. And then the babies are called calves. Yeah. The females are the cows. The babies are the calves. The moose's lifespan will go up to about 15 years. This moose here, we don't know the exact age, but we do have ways that we can kind of hypothesize about what the age of the moose is. And one thing we do look at is the teeth. And in just a second, we'll lift the teeth up, the skull up, and you guys can look at the teeth. But the more worn down that the teeth are, the older the animal is. Okay, moose don't have dentists, and animals don't have dentists to go to help protect their teeth. So when they're continually eating and they're grinding the teeth, which are bone, they're grinding that bone away. So the older they are, their teeth are going to get worn down a lot more. A little bit more about the physical structure of the skull area besides the teeth. The ears, they have really large ears that are on the top of their head. And they will rotate around in circles so that they're able to pick up sounds from 360 degrees around them. The bulls have a little bit, maybe have a little bit easier, maybe they have a little bit harder, but their horns or their antlers will magnify sound. But that sound only has to come from the front in order for them to hear it. If there's sounds coming from behind, those antlers aren't going to magnify that sound quite as well. So that's why they're able to turn their ears to try to pick up sounds more. Their eyes will have a clear eyelid that'll go over the top of them, and they'll usually stick out a little bit more. But with this moose, the eyes are, because it's deceased, the eyes are starting to sink back into the eye sockets. The nose is really long and pronounced.
What's going on, Moose Boy?
The nose is its sense of smell. The moose's sense of smell is its strongest sense by far, more so than the hearing. So this whole front part of the skull here is all nasal cavity. Okay, this one's busted off. This one is a skull that I actually found over by Spencer Glacier. This was also a winter kill. It died during the winter time. But this part here comes down, and there's bones that run down the front of the nose, and that's what this would be here. So this whole top of the area here and down is that nasal cavity. Nerves, soft tissue will be in this area here to help magnify their sense of smell. Very sensitive nerves so that they're able to sense different smells that are around them. Back here, at the bottom, you can see the hooves. The hooves are special in that it's also an identifying characteristic to the family that the moose belonged to, which is Cervidae. Can anybody see what's special about the hooves? Where yet? They tilt. They're dark colored. They have two different segments. They have two toes to their hooves. Do you guys see how they're split here? Their hooves are split down the middle. They have two toes. And that is a unique characteristic to the family that the moose belong in. Moose belong in the same family as zebras, as deer, elk, not horses. Horses have different toes. Horses will have different toes.
Oh, camel.
They're pretty closely related to camels. Elk, definitely. The two closest animals that the moose are related to are deer and elk.
Like fish.
But the hooves are made of a very strong material, much like your bones. And the legs, the moose's legs are jointed so that it not only can kick backwards, but it can kick off to the side as well. That's why when you see a moose, if you're living in Anchorage and you're walking along and you see a moose in your neighborhood, it's best to stay away and give it its space, because if you go up and you make the moose angry, because the moose is actually thinking that you're going to harm it, and it's wanting to protect itself. And that's when moose can do a lot of damage and hurt, severely injure, and maybe even kill